Hi, welcome to the Dirt Trail Running Podcast. My name is Michelle Hartwig, and I am the race director at Ornery Mule Racing. We are here tonight to talk about Midwest States 100, 100K, 50K race, and we have a bunch of people that did a lot of the work at the race, and we're just kind of recap it, and everybody's going to introduce themselves and talk a little bit about what you did at the race, like your purpose. Maybe not what you did, because that would take.
I was going to say like 3 hours later. I'm Nikki. I did all the things. I feel like that's my. I feel like that's going to be my next tattoo.
Yeah,
Nikki, I did all the things for Ornery Mule.
Yeah, we need somebody in the comments to come up with ideas for your
For
title.
my title, I do definitely need
we need
a
a title. Like,
yeah.
So please send that in.
Don't be mean. Be
Yeah.
nice. Please. Okay.
I'm Sid. I am the course director for Midwest States. So I mark the course. I coordinate the marking of the course with the volunteers, as well as sweeping the course. And then pretty much whatever needs to be done, like Nikki, during the race.
All right. I'm Brian. Let's see. I did some timing.
Most of it.
Yeah, I did most of the timing. So hung out at the finish line, partied with everybody all night long, and then did some flag pickup in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
That was about it. Just kind of helped wherever I could.
And you drove up here today.
Yeah.
And where are you
Kentucky.
from? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Kentucky.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you say that.
Come on, Nikki.
All right, I'm Kyle. I showed up on Saturday, so I wasn't there for a lot of it. I was there for like afternoon and then throughout the night. Hung out with these awesome people for most of it. I just kind of helped out where needed. Not them. Yeah, no, they were there too. I'm kidding. But yeah, I just kind of helped out where it was needed. But yeah, I spent a lot of my time with these three. It was really fun.
First impression of Kyle for me, having never met him before. I vaguely knew, just from like being on Facebook with you guys, and then I see this kid show up, and he grabs a backpack, runs off down the trail, like disappears for like 2 hours, comes back, this thing's loaded with flags,
Yeah,
and I'm just trekking, just like no reaction,
You were
calm,
marking.
composed.
Weren't you marking some course, or were you pulling
No,
flags?
I was marking a spot that hadn't been like
by the
there
stairs,
was,
right?
the tricky turn by the stairs.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
I took some flags out there.
We sent Kyle out to do all the things that we feel. I mean, he's Sherpa Steve, so if we can throw some stuff in a bag and make him carry it, that's what we're gonna do.
It just felt like
Sounds about right.
not knowing when he showed up, it felt like he was like, "Hey guys, that's great, Kyle. All right, go
Instantly,
trail,
right. We instantly,
flags
like,
go."
Kyle's here, great. I've got a job for you. Hey, Kyle, can you do this?
Yeah, I guess that was another thing. I swept part of the course on Sunday. That was
Anyways, I'm Faith, and I basically made sure every runner was okay and that they were safe and made it to each aid station as they should. And then this is...
I'm Jaden. Faith and I we were like a partner team. We both drove the DNF bus. We were picking up people who eventually and unfortunately dropped during the race.
You're more talking Hennepin.
Yeah.
You were more Jeep communications.
Yeah, we were making sure that every runner was accounted for and nobody
Yeah.
got lost, and making sure everybody was okay during the race, and we were successful.
You
were.
did. You
Yeah.
were successful.
Made sure everyone made it back, and safely, too.
Yeah, it was quite a system to check in at, go from one station to the next, make sure everybody got there.
Well, for anybody that doesn't know, there's no cell coverage up there.
Right.
Yeah. And so for these two, that meant no GPSs. So they were getting turn-by-turn directions for 30-mile out and back trips.
My mom, so Nikki, she literally wrote out an entire list of each turn and the roads that we had to go on, and we got lost. We got so lost multiple times. Finally, after probably the 5th time that we went out to make sure everyone was good and safe, we had it down. But, dude, those roads and everything like that are just so insane.
Faith and Jaden did what every runner thinks that they shouldn't do.
Yeah.
They don't download the map
To
before
work
they get out
offline.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, this all could have been fixed if you two had just downloaded the map?
Yeah.
We don't have to talk about
Oh
that,
my
right?
gosh.
Because
At that
there's
point,
no
we
service,
couldn't.
and different phone companies have worse or better service. Some of them have zero, right, Faith?
Yeah.
Zero. So you need to download the map.
And you have to do it every year because
Right.
I didn't know this, but Megan
either.
told me that it doesn't save for over a year. So I thought I downloaded it last year. I'll be fine. And Megan's like, no, you got to download it every year because it just disappears from your phone after a while.
Yeah.
And it did. For me, when I go, we get up there the week ahead of time to get the course ready. And one of my jobs is to put up signs where all the porta potties need to go.
Oh, right.
And which is at all the aid stations, but also that job also makes sure I know how to get to every single aid station on race day. So it's kind of like my test run of doing that.
Yeah.
And 2 years in a row, one of the aid stations, the GPS coordinates taken me to the wrong side of the course. So it takes me
Okay.
down a road where like there's private property between me and the aid station, and it's kind of a sketchy road that you go on. Like I'm going, there's signs up everywhere, like no trespassing. We don't want you here. And I'm like on a 1-lane road driving down. And so like you have to go to the exact right spot. Like I just happened to come in it at the wrong direction. So, I remarked it so I was able to get there on race day. It's not a crew access aid station, so a lot of people don't deal with that.
But yeah, you need the map.
Yeah, maybe get the map.
Yeah,
It might be a good idea. Don't get lost 8 times
Everybody
like
get the
Jaden and I
map, as
did.
we're saying. Download the map.
I will say
yeah,
all
while you're
roads
at home.
look the same in the dark.
Even in the light, dude. They're dirt roads. They look the same.
They do look the
They
same.
really do.
Yeah. Okay, so that's all of us.
Yeah, so that's everything. So yeah, so how should we tell the story of Midwest States 100? Just kind of start with the week before, like what
Yeah, let's
happened.
do that.
We came up pretty early. Did we come up on? Was it Tuesday or
Monday.
Wednesday?
We were there Tuesday, I think.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, we get a great Airbnb. There's a
do. It's
lot of
really
really
nice.
nice Airbnbs in the area.
Yeah. I mean, and there's lots of little lakes. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just it's the Shawamagon National Forest. It's gorgeous up there.
Yeah. I would camp, but we've got computer stuff going on. So,
Right.
I mean, it'd be nice to
Yeah.
camp with all the runners because all the runners are camping.
Camping?
I will say, when Jaden and I came up, we got there like 2 a.m. the night before the race.
Oh, yeah, to the same Airbnb.
When we
yeah.
pulled up to the cabin that we had, the stars, absolutely insane. Like, we both were absolutely shocked. Like,
Yeah.
it was just the most beautiful thing that we have seen. Like, we meant to, like, sit out there and, like, look at the stars. We never had a chance to do it,
yeah.
but it was crazy.
Next year, you guys got to be up there earlier.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we got there that night, it was quite literally 2 a.m. and we were both running on like 18-hour days at that point. And we
Yeah.
got out of the car, we were just looking straight up like, holy cow, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And we wanted to admire it more, but we just didn't have the
We
opportunity.
passed out instantly.
Yeah, it was so pretty though.
What were you going to say, Brian?
Oh, the camping. Seriously, that was such a cool aspect.
Did you camped at the volunteer?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, like once I knew I wasn't gonna race it, I think I definitely would have hoteled if I had been able to race it this
Okay.
year. But then like as soon as I read that volunteers could camp, I did that, and it was so cool. Like it just felt really grassroots being there a few days early, slowly getting to meet these people, and then you put on an event with the people that you've got to hang out with for the last
Right.
few days. It just takes all the like sterility out of the whole thing.
Yeah, and I'm gonna jump to that. So like the Thursday night before the race, we do a s'more like get together for all anyone who's there for the race. It's in the campground, and this year we had a huge turnout.
Yeah.
And we assigned campsites to people, and I just got so much feedback, like good feedback about who people met at their campsites, and some guy who came from France got to hang out with this other person, and then like these 4 ladies who got into a campsite, they were like, I think we met our best friends for life. Like it was super. Like everyone really liked it. And I was stressed because I assigned the campsites, and I'm just
Yeah,
like,
it was 3 to 4 tents per
Right.
campsite,
And they're
huge.
right. They're like forest preserve campsites where they're gigantic,
Yeah.
and so lots of them are on the lake. And we just got great feedback about how much fun people had just camping. So maybe don't get a hotel.
Yeah, no, and get up there early.
Just
like,
get a good
Some
mattress.
people showed up, Saturday to sleep there Saturday night and stuff. But like Melissa Sears,
Yeah, she's
my mom
awesome.
and I, just us three rocking it Thursday night, and I wish everybody had been up there sooner because it's so fun. It's worth it to take it off, like, and to make it a vacation and not just
Yes.
about volunteering.
It
'Cause
is.
It's so pretty.
The volunteer campground. Have you been to the volunteer?
Yeah.
Oh my
It is
gosh.
so cool.
You're
like
on the-
completely surrounded by a lake.
Yeah,
It
you're
is.
on
It's
a
a
little
point.
point, so you've got like at least 270 degrees of lakefront property that you can just
Yeah.
camp anywhere on.
Yeah. And there's a
Um,
bathroom there. It's
Really well
primitive,
maintained
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, the campground is really well done.
Well, and we get that whole campground area, and we get all of the other campground area
Yeah.
completely for Midwest States. They
Yeah.
close them for us, which is awesome of the DNR for the DNR
Yeah,
does that.
it's National Forest
National
Service,
Forest Service, okay.
and that they actually did not do that for us the first year. I had to get on the computer at midnight for like
Oh,
5
yeah.
days in a row and
Yep.
just start. And my husband was on another computer, and we were just booking, and we were like trying to
that's
book
right.
all
Black-
the.
it was like a Black Friday
actually
sale.
do it like that. Yeah.
Yeah, last year.
And then it wouldn't let us do all of them sometimes, and we ended up not getting so there was like one random guy with all the runners in the middle of it, like
He probably loved it.
yeah, well, no, he did not actually. There was some friction.
It would just be so cool to like get like almost like a festival camping for a few days type atmosphere
Right,
at
that's-
this race. I mean,
yeah.
seriously, like to the point where it's like, oh god, maybe these are too full now. I mean, just to be packed in there and to hang out with other people, it's
Yeah.
Yeah, we will. We can't. If every single person chose the camp, we don't actually have enough campsites for
We'll
every
build more,
single
Michelle.
person. I mean, I could get on at midnight and try
Right.
to start booking
Yeah.
stuff, but
And there were some spots where they're like like the day of, and a
Yeah.
couple of other campgrounds that are right there around that area. You could get that day, which we were thinking of doing. We didn't have to.
we didn't have to,
Yeah.
luckily. But yeah, it's that race just has a great, like you said, grassroots. It's a special
How
like.
did Noel feel about people camping right?
I
well,
love
he
Noel.
volunteered
That was his idea.
So
He's
has he
great.
offered for next year?
Oh yeah, he
Yes.
has.
Yes.
Okay, all right, because
Yeah.
people being able to camp right there.
Yep. We're trying to figure out how we're gonna do that. But yeah, so now we're jumping to Noel.
We get
Oh
it
my
to
gosh.
Noel. I want to start
I'm
speaking.
sorry, I'm steering
No,
this thing.
All right.
he
Well,
needs
that's
to
okay.
stop.
We should talk about Noel
Yes.
because he's a major part of this race.
Noel,
But wait, let's Noel. I don't even know his last name honestly. But what's his first name, Faith?
Noel,
I got it,
Nolan,
No.
Nolan. Yeah.
Wasn't it Gary?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Is
it's
it really?
Gary.
Yes,
Okay,
his
so
name is
everyone, wait.
It's like
This is gonna be
Marshki
great
or
for the
something like
podcast.
that.
Yeah, Marshki.
Everyone needs to
Yeah,
listen to this.
Marshki.
Like murdering
So
that.
Jaden and I walked in to Gary's cabin on the ground
The start
for
line.
Midwest States, right? So we walked in the cabin, and I don't think he said anything. He
Yeah.
just looked at us like we were stupid. But anyways, we looked around and we were trying to help him with his printer, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And as we were looking around, everything said Gary on it, and everyone was calling him Noel. So we were sitting there so confused. Finally, we figured out his name was Nolan. So we were calling him Nolan the entire time. Then we realized everyone called him Noel. Okay, so then we kind of switched over to Noel. But moral of the story is the fact that he's amazing. Like he
That was not what I thought you were gonna say.
he fed us the entire time. Like Jaden and I, every time he looked at us, he went, "Are you guys hungry?" And we went, "Yeah, we are."
So Noel is the chef of the Mondo Dam Lodge, and
I love him.
has a cabin there that he owns. He got
owns-
a 5-year permit, right?
Lease. Yeah, he's leasing it from National Forest Service. And a lot of people put it in. He went to chef school
Yeah.
in Chicago. Like, he's a very well-trained chef. And, yeah, I mean, they chose the right person.
Right.
He
Oh,
is
for
ama-
sure.
He's like the mayor of that area.
He
Everybody
is.
knows him.
So he offered his house to us, really, where he
Yeah.
lives, for the Ornery Mule core team to sleep there, and that we could sleep in the parking lot. And then the day before the race, he's like, "Well, if there's any people who need to camp, set up tent here, tents here, and it's like acres and acres.
Yeah.
That he said that people could camp on. So some of our volunteers camp. There are a few of people who hadn't signed up like
Yeah.
last minute. We were able to like find a spot for them. And then he fed everybody. And that restaurant, let me tell you, I wanted to drive up there this weekend because I don't know if you saw his Facebook post. The 4 different soups he has.
Oh my
my
gosh!
goodness,
And did you
yeah.
see those waffles
The chili.
that looked amazing?
Yeah. So I wanted to go there this weekend. So it's like
He's amazing. Just flat out, absolutely
the
amazing.
kind of food that it's like a grassroots
Yep.
ultra that has like a 5-star restaurant.
I'm at the
It's-
start finish
right,
line.
it's
Like you can
awesome.
walk right to it.
Yeah.
Guys, don't forget the point that he has the only Wi-Fi anywhere
That,
near.
I'm sorry, but the Wi-Fi goes below the quality of food that he makes.
Oh no, 100%, 100%. But
And not even the quality of food, but just him as a general person.
This podcast is gonna go long.
It will, because he was just so great the entire time.
Well, you know, there's a button behind his fridge that every like few hours has to be pressed.
You're lying.
No, you have
About
to reset
what?
the Wi-Fi. So that's why at night the Wi-Fi gets super crummy because no one's hitting that
See,
button.
I didn't notice that because guess what? I was eating his great food.
Right.
Absolutely lying.
His house
But,
was
like,
also completely filled with alcohol.
even at one point, Jaden,
So fun.
Jaden and I went on one of our runs. Like right before, we went to go grab food. Noel was nowhere to be seen. Jaden and I were getting worried, okay? Because we couldn't get our food, right? Then we went on our run to make sure all the runners were safe. Guess who we found? Noel. At
he
an
was
aid
at an
station.
Yes,
station.
yeah, we're gonna.
He was working an aid station.
Shut up! Did he really?
Yes, he did.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so we had a whole aid station cancel the day before the race. And so I just went to Facebook and I said, hey, by the way, we have one aid station that the whole team's not
It was
coming.
the overnight one.
It was the overnight,
one.
yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And so I'm like, we'll juggle people around, but I knew we were gonna leave some aid stations short by juggling around because we were pretty tight on aid stations. And Noel immediately calls me up, Michelle, where do you need me? I close the restaurant at 9, and then I can go work there all night, and then I'll go open the restaurant the next morning.
He's
And he
a
did.
typical chef.
He said it was the best day of his life. He loved it. He absolutely had a blast.
He loved it so much that
Oh yeah, he signed up.
He's gonna run the 50K next year.
We should have had Noel on this
I know. I was
podcast.
thinking we should have called him.
told
I
my
really
mom
thought
about
about
that.
calling him.
But no, Jaden and I walked up to him when we finally found him at the aid station. I was like, oh my God. No, we literally both screamed his name. And really, we finally found you. And we talked to him and everything. But, like, he's just great. Overall, he's just such a giving person.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
he's essentially the host, and he did just
Literally.
such an incredible
Yeah.
job making everybody feel so welcome. And what he did for you guys too. I mean, just seriously a class act.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
So
That
I
was
mean,
great.
like that. Go up there, run on their trails, even when it's not our race.
Yeah.
Make family
Yeah.
Oh, we
vacations.
know.
Some training runs.
We're
Yeah.
definitely doing training runs this year. Yeah.
Because Noel needs some training.
Did we say so? Noel has done a half marathon, but he did decide that he's going to run the 50K, and he signed up for the 50K.
Alright.
Does he ever run the trails in that area?
Yes, he's hiked them like
He's a
crazy.
hunter.
He's up
Okay.
there.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
Yeah. He was telling us his dad used to drop him and say, "Find your way home."
Across the forest, not on the. He didn't do the trails. He just
Right.
ran
Just in
across the forest.
randomly in the forest somewhere. Yeah, he's like bare bones. He's like
He's
Wisconsin.
way tougher than we
He's
are.
like northern Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody's really excited about Noel running, but they also have a running club up there that Megan started at the brewery, Lake 11 Brewery with
Lucas. So now we can talk about another local, Lucas.
Yeah,
He came out last year
yeah,
pretty quickly and did a ton. He helped us a ton last year with his nephew, Marcin. And then he's also come out to, I think, Earth Day and Frozen Gnome.
yeah.
He came and ran. And then he did his first ultra at Midwest States this year, and he finished his 50K. But he also opened Lake 11 Brewing, and they're doing I don't know exactly what they're running.
I think that they have Wednesday night runs. They
think
run
it's
on the
Thursday
Pine Line,
night.
or is it Thursday night?
But yeah, they run on the
On the Pine Line Trail.
Okay.
Which is kind of a rails. It's a dirt rails to trail up there in Medford. Every time we go up there, I'm like, oh, I want to go run the Pine Line
You
Trail.
do say that every year.
Yeah, and I haven't. Well, I'm usually too tired. I'm
Right.
like on
Right.
Saturday night, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go run, and then on Monday, I'm like, no,
Nah.
I'm just gonna drive home. I'm too tired. But I meant it when I said I was going to.
So is there like a Facebook group for that?
Well, if you follow the Lake 11 Brewing,
Okay.
I've seen them posting
Okay,
about
gotcha.
it.
Yeah, we went there. What was it, Thursday night? before the
Thursday
race?
night we met at the
went,
brewery, yeah.
And so they don't serve food at the brewery, but there's restaurants like
The
right
best
across
Mexican
the street.
restaurant I've ever eaten in my
we walked
entire
across the
life.
street and ordered excellent Mexican food.
Pupusas.
back.
Oh, they were
Oh, I'm gonna
so
have to go
good.
there. Yeah.
It was, I've never had one of those before. I
What
would
do
have a
we
million.
What do we got on our schedule tomorrow?
I know. This weekend I feel like we should be driving up there.
And of course, the beer is
The beer is
really
very
Yeah.
good. Yeah, and it's a really neat, it's a very like brewery type atmosphere with couches, and they do other things there. But yeah, it was good. What was the Ice Age? They have an Ice Age beer, right? What was it called? Do you remember? I don't either. He brought it to he sent some growlers to the s'more night
Oh, okay.
of
Yeah,
Lake
so we
11,
had
or
a
it
few
was
of
called
his-
something. It was called something Ice Age Trail or.
Well, and Lake 11 is part of our
Right.
course.
Yeah, that's a
so
segment.
that is a segment. It's a pretty segment. It's Megan calls it
It's
something.
the wet segment though, right?
Well, it's a segment that people will drive from all over the state
Okay.
to go do the Ice
Okay.
Age Trail.
Nice.
There's a couple of those. So there's also the Esker area that
Yeah.
people drive from all over the place.
Did I
to
tell you
see.
that? So the Jerry Lake segment is also another one
Yeah.
of Midwest States. We were listening to an Ice Age podcast
Uh-huh.
last week. There's a pack of wolves on the Jerry Lake segment of the Ice Age Trail.
Really?
Yeah, that's what we heard.
Yeah, yeah.
So Brian heard it too. He was like, "Eh."
Listen,
Well, Brian's you're faster than everybody
Right.
else.
I'm more afraid of bears, I think, than wolves.
listen, I used to I think a lot of kids grow up afraid of the dark, but this only changed for me recently. And I'm like standing out there because I drove out to the middle of nowhere to go sweep 9 miles of trail for the flags and
Right.
everything. And I'm just like waltzing around the car. It's dark. It's the middle of nowhere. No cell service. And I'm like, I'm probably fine. I got my headphones in, not aware of anything around me. Do the whole run, and I'm like, cool, it was fun. And then the next day you start looking at all the pictures people are uploading of bears they saw during the race and everything. It's like,
People said they saw a bear during the
somebody
race.
posted a picture on there of a bear.
I didn't see that
Yeah.
on our Facebook page.
Mhm.
I didn't see it.
Wow, we need to go look that up.
Yeah.
I know.
I hope it was from the race. I mean, it was in the
Last year
comments
there
and
was
stuff.
a mountain lion. What was it?
Stop
Well-
it. No.
yeah, someone. Well, at the
Cougar?
restaurant, they were saying that there had been a mountain lion spotted in, the area.
Yeah.
And my husband, before race morning, on the road crossings, he goes and puts signs up that says, watch out for runners crossing the road, like flashing lights
Yeah.
and stuff. And he said that a bear crossed the
The
road.
day before the race, he saw a bear cross the road. in
The
front of
morning of the race,
Morning
and it's
of the
about
race.
5 miles in.
him. He saw a bear. He watched a bear cross the street in front of him.
What type of bear?
Black
Black bear. There is no.
They
nothing.
told me they didn't tell me until the Monday after the race,
That
which
was
is
smart.
exactly the
Yeah.
right choice.
And then the aid station Knowles
Yeah.
they came to. So that's it's the what do we call
Wausau?
it?
No,
No, they-
Lily's
No,
aid station.
not Lily's. Noah wasn't at Lily's.
the
He was at
woods?
Brad's. He was at the
Oh, the
alumni
alumni aid
at the
station.
alumni aid
Yeah.
station. A bunch of because they were training the bear hunt. The bear hunters were there with their dogs, training their dogs,
Dogs, right.
they were they were chasing bears out there while the runners were doing it, but apparently it's okay. And they came up to their aid station. They go, by the way, our dog is chasing a bear right now, and every time the dog has chased the bear before, it runs right through this aid station.
But it didn't.
But it did not. It did not like all the people.
That would've been-
It found a different way to go.
I mean, it's people. It's a little people-y, especially around aid stations. I feel it's
Yeah.
people-y. You got to watch out on the trail.
Yeah, but one thing about that I thought was really cool is there's lots of different sports out there using this area.
Yeah.
There's like the 4x4s, there's the hunters. I'm sure there's fishermen. There's a lot of boating out there. And Noel's like the mayor, and everybody comes to that restaurant, and they said that they didn't hear one complaint about the runners.
Oh,
And
good.
everybody just they just thought, I could hear when I was in the restaurant, they're like, am I here for the 100-mile race? Like, they just thought it was hilarious that we were out running 100 miles.
Yeah.
So the local community is very supportive of the runners, and even though we're probably disturbing what they're doing that weekend, they are very welcoming by opening
Yeah.
up the trails to us.
And we always try to leave it looking better than we found it. Like,
Yeah.
that's what we tell our runners. That's what we tell our volunteers. We want to be cleaner than we were coming in. Than it was coming in with us going out.
Can we just go off a little bit and just talk about the fire station that is there and how much they help out? And
That's
like,
Hennepin.
oh, that's Hennepin?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Mill Row, like, count this out. Pretend I never said anything.
Well, we'll talk
Okay.
about that on the Hennepin.
It's also locals, though. That's what we're getting to with Midwest States.
Okay.
Yeah, Faith and Jaden did Hennepin and Midwest States
we did
this
two
year.
very close together, so
Yeah.
I'm not really into all of that.
Okay.
Okay, continue. Sorry. Anyways. I could bring something else up. Okay,
Yeah,
well.
go ahead.
One thing I will say before we talked about all of that was like the wildlife out there. While Jane and I were driving one night with the wildlife, we literally had to full on stop for a bunny. A bunny, a little baby bunny, and I had to get out of the car to push this bunny off the road so we
That's
did not
weird.
hit it. Isn't that
Maybe
weird?
it had rabies.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think it didn't.
Or it was
Like
someone's
that.
pet.
Oh,
What?
Maybe
And you
because
just shoved this thing into the
No, no,
grass
no.
on the side of the road?
okay, I was gonna hit it, Brian.
Brian's like, you were stepping on it.
But no, at least I didn't hit it or anything. But like, I was just like, "Hey, little guy, like you got to
Oh,
move,
weird.
move a little." And he finally ran away after I walked up to it. But like, no, the wildlife out there, like it's intense.
Well, the deer are different.
weird.
Like here in Crystal Lake, the deer are tame.
They just look at you.
They do, and they stand on the trail, and you have to kind of try to scare them to get them off. We on the Ice Age Trail last weekend, and like the deer are more like because people can hunt them there.
Yeah.
But up in there, the deer are scared.
Yeah, they run. They
Yeah,
know people are
They're like,
hunting.
you see their eyes, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
So they're mangy. They're also
Not
a
the
different kind
bunnies.
of deer.
They
have
do
lots
look
of hair.
different.
They're very hairy. Porcupines. There's lots of porcupines out there.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, they've multiple videos of porcupines.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys, anybody listening that's interested, go to Midwest States training page on Facebook, and there's
lots
pictures of this.
Yeah. All right, so let's rein it back to the Friday night before the race really quickly. We were at Noel's cabin, and for anyone who listened or ran Midwest States 2022, they'll remember it was the inaugural, I don't know, flood, deluge,
Yeah.
hurricane. We're not quite sure what to call it, but so all I wanted to do was have a good weather year.
Yeah.
So pack a pickup went great, except it started to drizzle. and
Even
so-
though there was no rain
There
on
was
this.
no rain predicted, which is typical for Midwest states. So everyone was, a little bit like jokey, ha ha ha. The weather was great.
Yeah, it
was beautiful. Right? No, it wasn't.
I'm sorry, which part of shivering for
Yeah, right.
It was a
good
little
10
cold
hours?
at night.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't be
It
that
gets cold at
picky.
night.
Runners, it was great.
Yeah.
No, for real,
It
yeah,
gets
they-
cold at night, but if you had been there
Last year we did that
was
in pouring rain.
Yeah, no, you guys were nuts for
buckets
that. Yeah.
and buckets of water. It was the
Oh.
worst experience of my life. Honestly, it was not a fun night.
I remember reading about that in Ultra Running Magazine. I don't remember who wrote the article, and I
Sam.
was like,
Sam did. She did. Yeah.
I was like, that sounded disgusting.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do that.
That is a
Well,
bad
and
idea.
that's- I
Let's sign
know.
up.
People were saying how different the first year didn't talk about the technicality very much. This year, that's all we heard.
Yeah.
And that's because everything was underwater and mud.
Yeah.
So like it didn't feel that technical the first year.
Yeah.
But this year, it's a very technical race.
Yeah.
Which I
The
think is
elevation's
awesome.
not a ton.
No.
I mean, I almost didn't want to put the elevation. I mean, people kept asking me, and I
Right.
had to put it on the website.
Yeah.
But I did, because then everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, that looks super easy." Like it's
not.
less than Kettle,
Right.
and Kettle's a fast course.
Yeah.
Kettle's it's not particularly hilly.
It's just so constant. You can't develop any tempo because if you're not going up, you're going down, and there are these little 6 foot tall rollers, and then it's sharp turns
That's
in
Nordic.
between trees.
It's because you had to run Nordic 4 times. Now we've just segued to
No,
Kettle.
no,
but,
no, no,
Yeah.
no. At Midwest.
Oh.
I'm talking
at
about
Midwest.
just how tight that trail is. It's so hard to build up speed, and that's what makes it so technical. Is that it's just
Did you run but see, you sound like you're talking about the ATV loop.
no.
He ran from Mondo.
Oh,
I
okay.
ran like what did I run? I ran like 10 miles out and then back.
It's pretty technical too. Like
Yeah, that's what I said. I
very
rolled my
rocky.
ankle 3 times in like 15 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're doing a big chunk of it at night.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
first place was what, 20 hours?
Well, we have a 34-hour cutoff,
Yeah.
and first place was 23 hours and 30 minutes. It was Michael Leiterman for the male, and then the female, and so that was a course record.
Yeah.
And then for the female was Allison Ball and 28 hours, 25 minutes, and 49 seconds. That was not a course record. Sam Stemmick's course record still holds at like 25-hour range.
It was won outright by a woman last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't
Sam.
Yeah,
that
Sam.
Last
right?
year. Yeah.
And she is from that general area.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so
Oh, wow.
she actually came in. She was living in I don't know, someplace on the East Coast. She is from that area, but she had moved out to the East Coast. But she came back because she wanted to run on her local trails, and then she overall wins.
That's
Mule.
really cool.
So that was really cool. What do we need to talk about next?
I would say aid stations.
Oh yeah, we should talk about the different people that
Yes.
you've got. So we have the alumni aid station. Any alumni that are listening, everybody's signed up to come back for next year. But the first aid station you get to, it's an alumni aid station. That's been something that developed in our Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
And so Brad Gorski, he's coming back next year. They were coming up with ideas.
To volunteer or to run it? He's going to volunteer.
He's volunteering
Okay.
at that aid station. And
Okay.
then
Oh, because he finished
Paul
the
and
first year, so
Greg.
he's like, Matt, done.
Yeah.
'Cause he did it in the worst year, so he's like, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah, and then there's kind of Coyotes, so they're all coming up again, and then I'm not sure who else, but they're captaining it, and then they did a fantastic job.
They did
there.
great, yeah.
That was the Bear Aid Station where the
Yes.
bear.
Also, the
was.
worst communication, even though it's the closest
It
to the
is.
start finish, but there's like, they just do their thing and they just figure it out, which is great.
It's the one that we can't get the inReach
Right.
to go through. We can't get
We
our
can't-
phone
you
to
can't
get
the
through.
like the satellite can't even go through. So
All the other ones we can get a hold of.
yeah,
But that one you can't. And
Yeah.
it's close. I mean, it's not a very far
Right.
drive to get there, but it's how far? It's like 5 miles in the
Yeah, and
race.
that aid station, we were making it unmanned for the first pass this year.
Yeah.
And they were there.
they were already
anyway.
there.
They were setting
Yeah,
up,
remember
and they
Brad
were
was there.
Yeah.
waiting for the
So
runners.
We were going to surprise everybody and be
Right.
there
Yeah.
because we said on the website that it was going to be unmanned. And then we were like, well, we can just drive over there and
Right.
take care of everybody the first loop. You know, it's only 5 miles in. They're pretty close, but they were there.
Yeah, they were there
They were
already.
there and setting up. So that was nice.
And then next up is the Wasa Aid Station, which they crush it.
they crush. I love their aid station. I mean, I love all aid stations, but this year they had like Christmas lights going, I don't know, half a mile into the woods.
Yeah. Well, they learned from last year. Their station, it was so dark last
Yeah,
year.
it was
Yeah.
really dark there in the woods.
Yeah. And I liked where they set up. So they came on Friday night and they
just sleep there.
Yeah, they
and
stayed
just
there.
stay
And they set it all up. They set it up right on the road, which was kind of cool. They had a big long section.
Yeah.
And they crushed it. That's we've got pictures of their
And they're fun. Yeah. And they that was, I'm trying to remember. Something happened with like a certain runner and somebody was like kind of missing.
No, that was at Lily's.
No, there was another one that maybe you don't remember, but I can't remember her name. The chick with the short but colorful hair.
Oh yeah, I know who you're.
She was just like, she's like, oh, this is what you were looking for. I missed the last time, but here it is. Like they're very like aware and know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, last year they came to Friday Packet Pickup, and one girl was so excited about Midwest States, and she couldn't it was all she was talking about. It was all year. So she drove all the way to Midwest States and forgot to pack all of her race gear. Like she left it was in a bag.
no.
She didn't have her shoes. She didn't have anything. She put everything in the car except for that. And so she was like, so I didn't know this happened. I actually
Okay,
I heard about it
this is new,
afterwards.
yeah.
And so the Wasa Ultra people came up to her. They go, well, what did you need? Tell me everything that was in your bag. They pulled together shoes,
kidding.
clothes, jackets, everything she needed and brought it to her the next day. and
That's
she ran and
awesome.
finished the race.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's an awesome story.
It
I did
is
not
a
know
really-
that.
So, I mean, and they did that for her and other people.
Yeah.
Like one guy gave a brand new pair of shoes on that course. Like they didn't get back a brand new looking pair of
Right,
shoes.
right, yeah, yeah.
You know, like off of his feet. So yeah, now we've talked up Wasa. Now Lily's easy to talk up.
Oh yeah, Lily's easy.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, Lily. I don't really mean that.
Oh my god.
So Lily, last year, Lily volunteered for the middle-ish aid station, and Sid and I were out after the race started. We're out trying to hit aid stations, and we come in, and she had never volunteered at an aid station, let alone been a captain of an aid station. So she's like, and we got there right as everyone was getting there. She's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And she's like an expert this year.
And
there
she
was no
makes
problem.
really good food.
Yeah, they do a really good job.
yeah.
Everyone is well fed, and they're just and it was actually just, who else was there besides her and Ephraim and the kids?
She had other volunteers there. I can't
think
remember.
one. It was.
Okay.
It was.
Well,
pretty
everybody's
small.
pretty tight.
Yeah.
All these aid stations,
And
yeah,
that was
they're
the aid
4
station
people.
where the people overnight ended up not being able to show up.
I mean, it was a family emergency. It wasn't anything
right.
bad.
It was
definitely a family
Right.
emergency. But then,
so overnight. So Lily ran it during the day, and then overnight, Noel was there, and then who were the people that came? No, I can't remember.
Noel went to Alumni Aid Station.
So
I think.
this one was that Alice and her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
And she drove from Nebraska just to volunteer.
Okay.
Because she had run the race last year and had
Yeah.
such a great experience, so she wanted to volunteer.
Yeah.
And her mom, she actually wouldn't let her mom come to the race last year because she didn't want her mom to be worried about her while she was running.
Really?
So then her mom's like, well, I want to come and volunteer so I can see what
Okay.
you went through.
Yeah.
So they actually were supposed to be at Alumni Aid Station, but I pulled them
Okay.
from there and put them to that overnight. And then Sadie's mom.
That's Lottie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they.
Is
that's
that-
her name.
yeah.
That was her name. So they people who weren't expecting to have to lead the aid station just killed it. And They did
Yeah.
a great job.
Yeah.
So that aid station was really, really good.
Yeah, Ephraim was cooking up some good food when we got
Oh, it was like Mexican street tacos.
Yeah.
Oh my
It
gosh.
was like chicharrone or pulled pork. It was delicious, and it was like we tend to not eat or
Yeah.
just grab a Rice
cheese
Krispie treat or something like that. And he's like, "Well, no, let me get you this," and it was delicious.
Yeah.
yeah, that worked out. And then there were some tequila shots that happened too.
Yeah.
As it happens with Lily. So that
That's
was
wow.
that her aid station, and then in the woods was
Shanna. Yeah. And her husband.
Can I just say,
sure.
Lily with her aid station, every time Jaden and I came by, she was so on top of everything.
She was so organized with what we needed and everything.
She knew
She
exactly.
had the list.
Yeah,
of,
she
the
knew what we
runners and all that.
needed, and if someone was calling her to talk to us, she was on top of it every single time. And then, well, yeah, of course it was you. Literally, I was on the phone with you
Lily
half
had
the
really
time.
great service at her aid station on her phone.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice.
and then at night with
With the older ladies, they were so fantastic. They were trying to help us even more than we even needed, which was just amazing. Just to have that support, even when we were so dog tired.
Yeah.
They were so helpful with us.
Yeah,
they
those
really
ladies were awesome.
They were on their game, and they They just
And
really
it's the
were
middle of
amazing.
the night. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning.
It was literally Jaden and I are sitting there like laughing our A's off. Like we were just like so out of it, and they were just laughing with us. Like they didn't care, and they were giving us the information that we needed. And they honestly, everyone at the aid station really worked their butts off, and they really did amazing.
Yeah, because they have to make sure that the runners are checking in and out. I mean,
Right.
it's the runner's responsibility, but we also have to put that on because there's no service out there.
Yeah.
That is the only way we can, unless we like bought $500 devices to
Right. for
slap
each
on every person.
We don't want to lose
It's-
anybody out there. Yeah.
So they really work hard and with a great
Every aid
attitude.
station. Right.
Every
Yeah.
single.
They do a good job.
Yeah, then Shana and her husband. What's her husband's name? I will have to look it up. It's on our
And this is
website.
like so, and this aid station is, you can't drive your car there. Well, actually, they can drive their car there.
Yeah, because they have
Some kind
a
of
Jeep,
4-wheel thing.
yeah.
So but it's in the woods. That's why it's called in the woods. You're up in you're not near an actual road. It's on an ATV trail, right? Is that what it's on?
Yeah, part of it's ATV trail. Yeah.
The
It's
actual.
like a forest road. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it is a forest road. Okay.
Yeah, so we could actually drive on it. Which
But that's a
we
no
did.
crude aid station, so they're the people who are taking care of. Their crew can't be there, so they're
Yeah.
the point people for taking care of every runner that comes in and needs help, because there's no crew there.
And they pick up a trailer from us at the
Right.
start and bring it out. So
Yeah.
it's one less thing that Royal needs to deliver,
Yeah.
which is kind of nice.
Yes.
So it's Shanna and Steve Stangler. We had a brain
Yeah.
forgetting. And they camped with you guys at the volunteer thing. Did you
Okay.
get to meet them?
I don't think so. Maybe.
They,
There's a lot of people in a very short time.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. Which aid station was Nicole Deeds?
That's the
That's
one.
the
Next
next one.
P
Oh,
Town.
okay.
P Town is Trish and Nicole. Right.
Yeah.
Were there, and it was very
They had an
animal
theme.
friendly. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
real cute.
And Tammy Zydek and her husband
Yeah.
Steve
They were helping too.
Helping theirs. Tammy ran the race last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, we stopped out there. That was a good time. They had their
That was fun.
puppies out there and more shots.
Yep.
Yeah, with the dogs up there, that's just like a different kind of level of support for the runners, because it's not like a human support, it's like an animal support, which is just so different. But it was so fun to meet all the dogs up there because they were all just so friendly to everybody.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
They really were. Jaden literally stopped to pet every single dog on the entire trail, and especially at this aid station. I was kind of standing back, but Jaden was petting every single dog that she could, and it was very sweet.
Did you pet the blow up dogs?
I did actually. They're pretty cool, not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Because
When
they
it
have
got-
literally blow up dogs at that aid station.
I didn't make it
You
to
didn't get
any
there?
aid
Okay.
stations because we have that 50K.
Right. Yeah.
And so that was, well, I made it to Wasa.
Yeah, we went
alumni.
to the first one of the first ones.
Yeah.
After the 50K started.
Yeah, that's when I drove over the no parking sign.
I was just telling
I
someone
swear I thought that was a
about
joke. I had no idea you'd actually.
Yeah,
drive over it.
I got a picture sent to my phone saying, Michelle says you're going to be mad at her. And it was her Jeep on top of a no parking sign.
And Ornery
Hey,
Mule.
This is how
Yeah.
not to park.
Hey, only cones
Yeah.
hold authority.
Because cones are
Yeah,
power.
cones-
Cones are power. If it's a sign, don't matter.
It does matter, Faith. Don't say that.
Does it?
It matters.
It does to everyone that's not us.
Well, when
I will say that.
I just got back from Javelina. We did the Jackass 32K, and I was talking with the kids, and we're like going on. This guy goes, do you have a podcast?" And he's and then because he recognized my voice, and he had just
what?
listened to our podcast, and he goes, "I love that part where cones are power," which was the Hennepin podcast. So you guys are gonna have. He said it was a good podcast, so you guys all got to listen. But it was we did a Hennepin recap,
Yeah. And cones are power.
and they are power.
They're harder to run over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see the sign. I just
Until
went a
it was
little too far.
Under your Jeep.
I didn't
Okay.
even know until someone told me. I had no idea. Well, because I had already hit a tree.
so I didn't know either.
I was more worried about that.
Yeah. So P-Town is the last aid station, and then they come running back through.
In P-Town, we have pizza made. We call up the local. Well, it's like a bar, restaurant place.
P-Town is like a bar
Yeah.
and a restaurant and maybe a church, and
It's
that's
Perkinstown.
Yeah.
It's short.
Oh, I
P-Town.
thought you
is
meant all in
Yeah.
one.
it's a teeny tiny little town.
No, I
It's
think
very
it was like
small.
one place. It was
Maybe.
a church, a bar, and also
Possibly.
a pizza place.
And a campground.
Yeah.
And a gas station. Yeah,
Right.
it's all the things.
But my husband went there and he said, so anybody, when you're in that side, so Noel makes fantastic food down there, but when you're on that side of the course, Rail said that they had the best sandwich ever
yeah?
at that bar there. Like he
Ooh.
was like, can you make me a sandwich? And they actually weren't open yet. He goes, I'll make you something. He goes, whatever you want. And he said it was like
Oh.
the best sandwich ever.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so be sure to, because my husband would have got there before the aid station opened.
Right.
But everybody's going to get there like at lunchtime.
I have one more question. I'm sorry. Are there any specific questions for Jaden and I? Because we do have to go in like a minute or two.
Well, I think we talked about you guys were kind of on here, but I think we talked about all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was about the communications.
Yeah, driving around, figure everything out.
Yeah. Looking for people who we thought were lost but weren't.
That we found.
Faith
End of the
found.
day.
Faith, you did
We
find.
found.
that
We
one.
drove
Oh, that
middle of
one
the
guy you
woods.
found.
I fought a bear.
She did.
Fought a bear. Kicked out I want to say pycoon.
Poncoon?
A pycoon. What are they called?
Porcupine?
A porcupine. That's what it is.
That's trying to combine like two animals, like porcupine, raccoon, something. Bear, coyote,
Anyway.
Faith's favorite animal is a raccoon, so.
My favorite animal is a raccoon.
Okay.
But
So yeah.
so yeah, if we don't have any more questions,
good.
Jane and I have to dip. Love you all.
They'll be back
Yeah.
next year.
Oh, 100%.
But and the Jeep will be decorated as also a DNF
Well, we'll
bus.
do
Of course.
the actual DNF, the bigger one that
Yeah.
we did at Hennepin.
Oh, yeah.
Although
We're
we're not
gonna-
expecting to pick up more people.
Will that work on all the roads that they can go on?
Yeah, it was too hard for me not to have a Jeep.
Okay.
Because remember, I had to
Yeah.
go
Oh, and the
when we had
ATV,
trouble. I
yeah.
had to take the ATV
I think
like
we thought
20
you
miles
had to take
We're gonna
ATV.
have a party
I
bus
did.
next year.
because I didn't have because they had my Jeep.
Okay.
But if you get in it, it will be sad. But we'll still have a party bus.
Okay.
It'll be
Yeah.
fine. That'll be fine.
All right.
Anyways, love
Another
you all.
one bites the dust.
Thanks, guys.
Good night.
Yeah, so what Faith was saying, I was thinking she was talking about when we did have two runners get off course. They were the fast runners because
Right.
fast people always blow.
Right.
They're going fast. They don't look at signs.
And we're not positive they were off course or they were running it.
I think they started to do the
wrong
loop a
direction. I
second
think they were doing-
time.
Okay.
Possibly. And so his wife called me and she's like, Michelle, he was supposed to be at the aid station, and I knew he was fast, and people are required to have the nap on their watch
Right.
too. So hopefully he had it, but it probably took a while to figure that out. And so I'm like, okay, so I was concerned, but then I'm like, so we just started to let everybody know. But then I realized that we were actually picking stuff up. I go back to the start finish and I realize we're only like 2 hours from dark.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got two runners that are fast. Fast people can get really far off course
Yeah.
really fast. And so we were like, and it was on the ATV area. So I'm like, well, let's take the 4x4 out there. But then the 4x4 that we were supposed to use, we couldn't get it
Right.
out. It was locked in the person's car.
Oh, right.
And so I'm like, hey, Noel, we got somebody lost. He's like, I'll get you one.
Yeah.
And so his dad takes me out to borrow his dad. So I get in the car with his dad. We're
An
driving
ATV. It was an ATV.
an ATV.
Yeah.
And
It was
I've never
cold,
I've
too.
never drove an ATV
And it was
before.
like the sun was setting pretty quickly and it was getting chilly. And ATVs are cold.
and we were by road, so we go out to his place. He's like, okay, here's the keys. I'm like, well, how do I drive this? And so then I'm like, And it wasn't as easy to drive as I imagined them to be. And so I take off and I'm driving out there going, okay, I'm going to have to drive out on
Were you
these
by yourself
trails.
or his dad went with you?
I was by myself. He gave me the ATV.
Oh, I thought his dad went with you.
No, all by myself. Just I never drove one before. I couldn't even start it.
No, I didn't know that.
And so I'm driving down. It was 20 miles to the aid station. I put in my GPS.
my
So I'm
gosh.
like driving the ATV with my phone, and I'm going down the highway. Everybody's going like 80
Right.
miles per hour,
And they go fast.
and I'm going like 40.
Right. 40
and,
was fast because we took the ATV too, and 40
which was
is
it was
fast.
really fast.
Yeah.
And so I'm like driving. I'm like, I cannot wait to get to this aid station. And
Was that
and
the one
I'm
that you
not-
couldn't see through the windshield too?
Oh yeah, you could not see through the windshield very well. So
Yeah,
every
I
once in a
saw
while,
it.
Sid had his head out the window. It was so
yeah,
bad.
it was. Yeah, that's the one.
That was the one.
Because you guys
it
did
was
that.
so bad.
So then I finally get to where I got one more turn and I'm gonna be there. And then I had cell service, and you're like, found them. And I'm like, so now I have to drive 20 miles back to the start in the ATV. I'm like, I am never getting into an ATV
But
again.
now, was that before? That was you had already called search and rescue at that point?
I called yeah, I had already
Okay,
called.
because it was getting dark and you were
Because
like,
I realized that I'm like, I can't count on me and the eight. I mean, I'm going out there to look for them,
Right.
But
And while you're going out there, they're getting further and further away.
Right.
Is what you're thinking.
yeah, so I did
safe,
while
yeah.
I was at Noel's dad's house.
Okay.
I called search and
Okay.
rescue, and it was really interesting. Well, for one thing, I go, we got a race. I explained, we got a race. We started at Mondo Lodge, and and our runner got lost out by P-Town, and they're like, well, he didn't run from Mondo Lodge to
Yeah,
P-Town. I
yeah.
go, yeah, he did. It's 100 miles.
love it.
And they're like, 100 miles?
we're like infamous in
Yeah.
that now.
And
They're gonna
they're
know us
thinking
next
I didn't
year.
know what I was talking about. I go,
Right.
no. And then like his
And you're like,
dad's
no,
like,
no, they're gonna run back too.
yeah, he definitely is out there. It's like, it's about a 50K out there. And so they go, well, we'll blow some horns. Which is what I'm going to add to the aid stations
Yes.
now, because what a
Yes.
great idea.
Yes.
Every hour we could like blow a horn, like if there's no reason to get lost though, because you are on the
And
Ice
he
Age
wasn't.
Trail.
I don't think he
They
was
weren't
lost. They
lost.
weren't really lost. And it was just the fact that like I think maybe they got turned around or did one loop twice.
I think they started to do that loop a
Right. And
second time.
expectations of their crew weren't meeting up with what was happening for them on course,
Yeah.
and they couldn't. There's no communication.
Yeah.
So like I feel like people get too worried too quickly.
Well, I wouldn't have been. Yeah, for sure. But I also, these are experienced runners. I know the wife. I know the husband.
Right.
He they were in the lead.
Right.
It's
But
not like
I
somebody
think
that doesn't.
that those runners weren't on the in the woods in and out thing. That's the problem. Like the in and out thing, you can kind of skirt past it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true.
And so they didn't check in between. They checked in at P-Town and then they didn't check in again until Lily's.
Yeah.
And that was kind of what happened.
Yeah.
So I think that everyone needs to know you have to check in the woods because we need to know where you are.
Yeah.
So we don't worry.
Yeah, exactly,
Which
yeah.
is and then Faith was telling me, hey, they're actually here, but then her phone call dropped. And
Yeah.
so that happened right before you went out. So like 3 hours, like it's just hours get lost by
my
the
death
communications.
drive
Right, yeah,
was
yeah.
unneeded, except
Well,
for
it was
now
a
I
great
know I don't
experience,
like
right?
driving.
Well, you learn something new.
Although I did do 4x4s
Right,
with the
that
kids
sounds
out
fun.
in Arizona.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But that one was those were harder to drive. Well, I don't know. They were different.
Yeah.
Because
Because it was more like
it was
you
very
sat on the thing.
steepy.
Yeah.
Steepy. I'm making up words.
Sleepy.
My kids say halfly all the time. They think halfly's a word. It's not. All right. Next, we're going to talk about the timers who did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
We already met Brian and his mom,
Brian and
Diane.
his mom Diane did the timing.
And your mom came from Florida.
Yeah, so she part-times between Kentucky and where my sister lives down in Florida.
Uh-huh.
To be brutally honest, not having my car was probably like the biggest reason that I wrote my mom into doing this with me. I mean, because like my mom is very active for her age.
She did great.
How do you rope a woman who likes her comfort into you know, sitting outside in 30-degree
You
weather.
brought
for,
the right chairs.
Right. So, yeah, for, you know, like, for what, 20 hours, you know, and then
Yeah.
I talked her into camping too, which, like, we've always motorhome camped our whole life, so she
Yeah.
was, you know, but like, it was so fun. It was so cool. It was such a great bonding experience to do that with her. She normally crews all my races.
Okay.
But like, it was such a blast. It was so fun to volunteer that with her. It was just getting to hang out with
And
you
I
guys
love your
was
mom.
awesome.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
I was so glad to spend the weekend with her. It was fun.
Yeah,
so
that was.
fun.
I mean,
And you guys had the timing down great. Look, because the year before, timing was a little stressful. Partially because the rain was making our paper melt because we were like writing
Yeah.
on paper. We didn't
Oh
have
my
the
gosh.
tablets and stuff set up. So, and then we just had I mean, you know, the first year of a race, you find out all the things that you would do differently to make it better.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
So we had like where the timing was and all
Yeah.
that. It was such a I didn't have to worry about it.
right.
It was awesome. You guys did great. It
I'm
was
glad we could help.
fantastic.
I mean, it was fun. Like, that's my first time ever
Oh,
volunteering
and you
in a
guys,
race, so.
I mean, you and Kyle and Faith and Jaden made the entire race so enjoyable to
Yeah.
I mean, to us three who are at all the races. You guys just brought this like level of enthusiasm.
Dude, those two are nuts.
Well,
listen, no,
so
listen.
are you though.
No, hold on. So, like, all right. Yeah, so, like, I get there. I know
They're not
Michelle.
here now, so let's
Yeah,
talk.
so we can talk about it.
Yeah, I know Michelle, and then I get to finally meet Sid and Nikki, and then like I'm like, okay, you know, timing's my responsibility, and I'd like to consider myself a bit of an adult, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I have a job to do.
adulted
I'm
doing
gonna
timing,
do
for
this,
sure.
and here come these two, just like on that like high school turn up level hype, and they're like. Want to come run all the aid stations with us in the van? And it felt like sneaking out again as like a kid. I'm like, no, I have to stay here and do my job. And they're like, no. They're like, just come with us. Tell my mom this. It'll get you away. And I'm like, nah, I have a job to do here, guys. Like, I'm not. And then eventually,
He totally went with them.
I
they
did.
took off.
Listen, they got me.
Yeah.
Well, because eventually I think Faith just told you like, oh, Brian's coming with us, and I was like, and you're like, okay.
No, you guys were fun.
We
Dude,
liked
they're
seeing you guys
such a
like
we enjoyed
trip.
it.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, and then we grabbed Kyle, and the four of us were just driving around, and it was.
You ended up at a gas station for something. You had were you with them when they had to go buy stuff? Because they also went and bought. They had to stop at gas stations to buy some stuff, or was that a
Like,
Hennepin?
That's
no,
probably
they.
happened.
Well, I think they had to buy some.
I think they had to
When
buy
did I-
something.
some
When did I have
ice.
to buy a
I know
CD?
they had to get gas.
Was CD?
Oh,
Did I
gas,
have to
yeah,
buy
we-
a CD at Hennepin?
It was gas for a generator.
Yeah, we
And-
needed
Oh, no,
Brad's
I wasn't
aid
there for that
station
one, yeah.
needed gas.
Yes, the alumni one, right? Yeah, so they had to stop and get that. Yeah, they bring it's a vibe that's fun,
Oh, it's such a
Fun
blast.
vibe.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
which wasn't them. It was all four of you.
Okay.
Were at a fun vibe. It was the four of you.
Oh my gosh, it was just riding around with these guys, and then like, best part about not finishing Hennepin, like the second it was like, crap, man, like I put so much time and effort, and I was like, wait a second, all my friends are at the finish line right now, so like,
Right,
cool, I'll worry about this later. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna go party with everybody. So yeah,
Good. And that's good. Like
they were brutal with the DNF
They
bus.
were.
They-
Right,
all-
Hennepin. Yeah, they weren't
all-
very friendly about it. This is people who don't run though, so you got to tell them to
They're so
shut it.
sadistic. It was awesome. Yeah. Here these people are like just disappointed at a low, and here Faith, Jaden, and I, and even Kyle come swinging in this Yukon that has like loser and quitter, you know, and stuff all like window painted on the windows, and you're helping these people load their stuff into there, and they're like looking at the stuff, and you're just kind of like.
They were happy.
And then they had a
death
death count, like of
Yeah,
everybody.
It was awesome. Those two are great. Yeah.
Well, people were like, I saw them on the highway, and so I pulled over, and then I'm like, hey, I could see it behind me. I'm like, that looks like our van. They pulled up alongside of us, and I'm like, oh, that looks great. I go, do you guys got a customer? And then the person rolls down their window, and they're like, like crying at me.
But they were happy.
But they were happy.
warm, and they were
People-
getting
yeah.
back to their car
They-
faster.
Yeah, it was.
Like
it was
if you
funny.
have to drop, isn't it better to not wait for 5 hours for a ride, Sid?
Yes.
Yes.
I would
Yeah.
rather
He
ride in the
knows.
bus than sit at an aid station for 5 hours.
Right.
Wah, wah.
Okay. So we talked about finishers. like early finishers. One thing that I noticed about Midwest States was we had gotten so for Hennepin we have Ultra Virgin Cherry
Yeah.
Pop T-shirts. We got stickers for Midwest States. I felt like I handed out almost all
Yeah.
our stickers. There were
Cherry
so many
Pops.
Ultra Virgins. People running distances they had never run before. Lots of people running. We had Hannah Thorson, who I met at the s'more night. She's like, yeah, I've never run a race. She hadn't run a 1 mile fun run. She hadn't run a 5K. She was going to do the 50K. She finished.
And she was so smiley
Yeah,
and
she
happy.
was awesome. Yeah, she was great. And
Is Hannah
she was someone, Midwest States.
Hannah Thorson, you said?
Hannah Thorson is her name.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
my hair is sticking to this chair. And then Sadie Schroeder
Oh my gosh.
was like, I've never run an ultra, but
My
I
hero?
decided I'll do the 100 mile. And
Yeah.
I met her at the s'more night too. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I was just blown away that night. And they both finished. And
Yeah.
Sadie finished. She was one of the like golden hour finishers. And her parents were there. And she was just, I think I'll never forget her finish.
Yeah.
It was such a big deal for
Yeah.
me to watch her finish.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And she did such a great job.
Yeah. Yeah. Her whole crew.
There was
a
an
group
awesome
effort.
crew with them. Yeah.
Everybody, a lot of people had like shirts on that all matched
Yeah,
with their
yeah.
names on it, and like big crews, and just I
But
mean,
I handed out
kids and
it was
puppies.
more than 50%. It was like 60+% of people having done that distance for the first time,
Yeah.
whatever distance it was.
So for our Ultra Version, no more Cherry Pop. So we're starting to bring the stickers now to all the all the
races? Okay.
Even though Hennepin's the one that we started the Cherry Pop.
Yeah.
Because that's a race that's a great first timer or PR sort of course. But we are bringing it. But we give it so you could literally go to Hennepin, earn a Cherry Pop shirt for your first 50K, then come back the next year, earn one for your first 50 mile.
Right.
Then come back the next year, earn one for your first
Yeah,
100.
your first distance
So it's your
finish.
first distance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it blows me away when people do a race like Midwest States or Frozen Gnome. That's
Yeah.
very often
That's
a first time
freezing.
50K. And I highly recommend not running that race.
I do too. I agree with you. I did 24 point whatever miles at it and I was like, man, I'm done.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
cold
rough.
and
It's
not
cold.
fun.
I mean, it is fun. I mean,
It's fun.
it's fun for a while
Yeah.
until it's not.
I
So
like
you-
Frozen Gnome.
Yeah, you
does run Frozen
Sid
Gnome a
used to
lot.
be the first person to sign up every single year.
No, I don't run it.
Yeah,
You
you
can
can still
run
run it.
Eh.
We have plans this
Don't
year,
make me
though.
run it.
No, we have plans this year for our spot, which is slowly
Oh,
becoming
yeah.
a situation.
Soon to be an aid station.
Right, I know. It's getting bigger and bigger, and it shouldn't be an aid station because it's not that far into the course.
Yeah,
but
what is it? It's about a mile.
It's a mile, and then they come back again, probably at 2.5,
Oh,
maybe,
okay.
or 4.
No, it's a mile and then it's a mile and a half. It's a mile and then another half. So they hit us
Okay.
at mile
for
one
the
and
first
then-
loop.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nowhere far. It's just fun. It's a fun aid station. You
But
don't
everyone's
need
asking,
it.
do you guys
You
have
don't-
water?
You don't need anything. You just want to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that. Yeah, Caleb got that really good Sid dancing. It's
Oh,
so
jeez.
funny.
The
So
kick.
go to our Instagram page if you want to
Right.
see
It's so
Sid's great
good.
moves.
It's so good. I wish you had gotten where you jumped.
Oh, yeah.
Out from
Scaring
the-
runners. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
That's like
good.
Jumping up behind signs.
So lots of Ultra Virgins at Midwest States. And then our last Ass on the Trail.
Yeah, that was so fun. So that was Jeremy. Do you pronounce
You
the
do.
N?
Yeah. Right?
Jeremy
Jeremy
Knaus.
Knaus, yeah.
Knaus. Jeremy Knaus. And he was running for his 50th birthday. It was actually his 50th
Mm-hmm. Right, the
birthday.
day he finished, right?
Yeah, he finished on his 50th
Yeah.
birthday
Wow.
as last. He was so excited,
And
and
he
then
had quite a crew. They were amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, his wife or girlfriend,
With
Megan.
the long, cute braids.
Oh, yeah,
she's
she's
adorable.
She is
oh my
so
gosh.
cute.
She
yeah.
ran the race last year.
Did she? Okay.
Yeah, she won the 100K last year. I
Wow.
believe. Yeah,
Awesome.
and
He also ran Hennepin this year, didn't he?
He did,
Yeah.
and she's running Hennepin next year. She
Okay.
loves Hennepin
Okay.
sort of course. Like she was actually at Chicago this year.
Okay.
And and when he ran Hennepin, he goes, "Oh, she's gonna love this course. Like this is her kind of course." So
Oh, so she hasn't run Hennepin
she hasn't
before.
run it yet. So it was his turn
Oh,
this year. So they actually ran 2 different places.
that's funny.
And but next year she's coming for that.
So he came in and finished, got his last ass award, and then everyone sang happy birthday to him. It was fun.
We've got pictures of it.
Yes.
He like genuine joy.
Yes.
Like they all threw
I
their
just
arms.
remember he finished, and he was so happy when he finished, and his crew and everybody was there, and he got his medals. And then I just remember I gave you the last ass, and you like showed it to him, and his face just lit up. He was like so happy.
It was like the best thing that ever happened to
Yeah,
him.
it was. It was. It was.
So then there's a whole nother round of pictures.
Right.
And he's
Yeah.
like holding it up. It was so fun.
I mean, it was. I don't think Reese was that excited when he won Kettle.
No,
And Reese was
yeah,
pretty
it was
excited.
an event.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was fun to watch him do that.
Yeah. So
then the race finished ish.
yeah, so we had a 34-hour cutoff, but we did have 2 ladies
Mm-hmm.
that were over cutoff. They came all the way from Texas.
Yeah.
They had came up to me before the race to show me that they had downloaded the map and that they knew how to use it. So,
So did they know they were going to be long? Is that why?
no, because it said required that you had that.
Oh,
So
okay,
not
okay.
everybody. I
Oh,
probably
so you just knew that they had the map.
I knew they had the
Gotcha.
map. Other people came and showed me that they
Sure.
had the map.
Yeah.
I don't actually have it on the website that you're required to show the race director that you
Yeah.
have the map.
I
But
like it. Not
a
maybe
bad idea.
apparently other races do, and maybe I should
Maybe.
because
It's very important.
it's very important when
Mm-hmm.
like because it's a gigantic. It's that forest is the entire northern part
Right.
of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
You
It
can
probably
get-
bleeds into Minnesota and the
Yeah.
Upper Peninsula. Like you could get lost.
But when they were behind cutoff, knowing that they had the map
Yeah.
and that they came all the way from Texas, we're not going to keep the aid stations open because the volunteers had already been there ridiculously
yeah.
amount of time and pretty low staff. So I just told Royal, I'm like, can you just make sure there's some water out there
Mm-hmm.
and let's just let them finish and we're cleaning up anyhow,
Right.
and then we'll just be here when they get done. And somebody came and picked up some of the water actually that
An
had a
accident,
sign
yeah.
that said
A
do not pick up
sweeper,
the water,
yeah.
but then Royal went and put it up again because then
Oh,
he got
good.
the sign back and he's like, who picked up the water?
Well,
that
and
was
Royal
for-"
Royal Senior, right,
Yeah.
made signs specifically for them saying, like,
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah, go Texas. Yeah, stuff like that. So
yeah.
they took pictures of that. And but yeah, their names were where we got that.
I don't have it.
They're on the bottom of this.
Yeah, I saw it someplace. Nancy Marks and Tara Wyack. And one of them said that they're going to be at Black Canyon. I'm signed up for Black
Oh, I
Canyon
don't
100K,
know.
and one
Yeah.
of them mentioned that they're going to be there. But so yeah, they came in. I don't know what time it was that they came
I
in,
think
but
we were all
It was well
packed.
late.
We were all packed.
It
We
was-
were pretty
It
packed.
at
was
the finish
quite
line.
late.
yeah, but they got it done and
They did
came in with
finish.
good energy
Yeah.
and
Oh,
so
yeah.
happy and so
Right.
grateful
Yes.
that they.
They were very gracious and happy about us still being there.
I don't mind waiting for someone, like you come in, you put all this time, you
Right.
come in from Texas. Like I'll sit there till 10 o'clock at night
Yeah.
just waiting for somebody to get there. But, the fact that I knew they had the watch because, like I don't want anybody, like you don't want a dangerous situation.
Right.
I had to pull somebody that at Hennepin because they got lost. They were
Okay.
over cut off and they got lost because they
Oh,
didn't do what
yeah,
they had
right.
said that they were going to do.
Yeah.
And but these two, I knew that they were prepared, and we just had some water, and they weren't that far. It was only like
They
8
weren't,
miles
and they were
out.
they were working their way toward
Yeah.
finish. We knew they were on their way to finish.
Yeah.
the whole time.
So yeah, we don't mind waiting for that, but it's not like something that you can sign up for it's already open for 34 hours. And the
Right,
volunteers are
right.
there, and we have to, we'll pull if we don't think it's safe, we're going to pull you.
Right.
But I'm glad that we were able to make that happen for them, and I look forward to seeing them at another race.
I know. Yeah.
Well, I think we went over everything. We got 45 people signed up for next year. So MidwestStates100.com. We got registration open on Ultra Sign Up. Sign up early to make sure you get a camping spot because we could end up not having camping spots that we can guarantee you. Although Noel has offered to put around there's a lot of space.
There is. I think that a lot. I think this year's gonna blow up. So I think honestly that it's gonna be a lot more people this year.
Yeah, people should sign up.
Yeah.
And it's a race we're trying to keep smaller.
You should sign up.
It is.
Well, I plan on it. Yeah, no, absolutely.
How about you, Kyle? Are you gonna run it?
I don't know. School.
What year are you?
I'm gonna be a senior. So I'm a
Listen, it
junior
just seems
right
like a
now.
lot
So-
of years. Can we
so
not fast track
2024
it?
And he's
you're
a
gonna be a
college
senior.
senior.
Right.
Okay, so you still have a whole year before you're gonna start running your ultras.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Kyle's running cross country for school.
Yeah.
And winning.
Listen,
I'm
That-
not
is
going to
it that
get in
important,
between
though?
Kyle and his coach. No.
I'm just kidding.
I think
Kyle, I
he needs to
admire
keep
you for
blowing up his
sticking with
cross
it, man.
country.
Yeah.
And he's got plenty of years to win all the races.
Yeah, I am doing a couple this summer though.
Ours or no?
Well, I can't do kettle,
Okay.
but
He's out of town.
Oh.
His schedule doesn't match up.
Okay.
He's going to be in where?
fine.
Jamaica?
yeah, probably.
Well,
We're going to feel like we're in Jamaica when we're in the like in the meadow.
who's we? I'm not going to be in the meadow. I'll be at Nordic, where I live.
No, hopefully we'll have cool weather at
yeah,
Kettle
like
this year. Like this
Okay,
year.
Midwest States. We did it.
Yeah, we did it. That was
Podcast
good.
over. Woo!